What's going on, everybody? Today we are looking at the CCZ Plume. CCZ being a new up-and-coming company. Want to keep an eye on this. I think they got another release already, more budget-oriented release. Taking a look at these, very gorgeous looking. I mean, that may be off-putting to some people. Maybe you just want a simple design, not so much bling, but really like this grill-like pattern. The logo, pretty cool. Just overall, really, really nice. I'll pop that off if I can. The tip fits on there really good. We'll get more to the specs and everything else in just a minute. I'm just enamored by the really prettiness. And this is all metal, but it's very light. It's extremely lightweight. Build quality is very good. As you can see, the ergonomics are very, very good there. 2-pin connector. The cable with it is really nice too. These tips that it comes with are really, really good. Fit on there so easy. I'm gonna put that aside. It's a beautiful box. Let's pan up a little bit to see the box. Really nice box. That is, of course, the sleeve, which we'll remove. And then you have the box. Very good quality box. Trying to open it up with one hand is not the easiest thing to do. Opens this way, right? Yeah. Okay. We had it upside down. Put that back. Obviously, you would be greeted by the IMs themselves and all these nice tips. What a selection of tips you have there. Some nice quality tips. Very nice. You lift that up with this. Some layers of foam there. And of course, you'd have your cable, which would be in there. And there's actually more tips right there. Or at least in my box it was. And you have your accessories. And we'll get into that. You get this very nice cleaning cloth. And also a cleaner, which is a welcome addition. So that's nice to have in there. You also get some adapters, which I'm loving to use because I do have a lot of IMs that terminate in 2.5. But we'll get the adapters without knocking everything over. Okay, I found them. Here are your two adapters. So that's really nice to include these. These are extremely useful, especially since most things take the 4.4 millimeter and a 3.5 millimeter. So that's very, very useful to include these. Actually, I wish, like most of the ones that came strictly balanced came with an adapter like that. Opening up this really nice case, you might you might remember this case from there's a bunch of different actually IMs that use it. The first one that I can think of is K-Bear. The both the Diamond and the Believe had that type of case. Look at this cable. This is nice, and this is all like a cloth covering, like a nylon covering on it. It's like a really much heavier braided version of the cable for the Shazi. You see a 2.5 millimeter. And so this is all like a cloth braided. Very nice cable indeed. Maybe people won't like that. A lot of people didn't like the Shazi cable because it was cloth, and I don't know, they just didn't like it. This doesn't have any rubberized anything on it. It's just cloth. Some pretty termination, a little black plastic slider, preformed hooks, and you, of course, your 2-pin connector with the curve. So overall, I really do like this cable. Now, obviously, the first thing that probably most of us do when you get an IEM is look for a replacement cable, because stock cables are usually just okay. This one, I would recommend just keeping the cable as is. It's a very nice cable. Doesn't get too tangled. It feels nice. It works well with the Plume. So yeah, overall, I wouldn't mind that. Good accessories. Let's take a look at the back packaging here. As a matter of fact, we'll go up just a little bit. So, we have 16 ohms, 20 to 20 kilohertz, and 110 decibels. The cable, of course, is it's a single crystal copper cable. So it's basically typically what you'd probably spend $30 or more on for an aftermarket cable. Very, very good. I mean, compared to like some stock cables that you get, here's a stock cable here, which isn't too bad, by the way, but you see it's much thinner, tighter braid. Looks, thinner and not as good. Still a good cable on that one, especially for the price of that. We'll be doing that, next probably. How I'm going to mark this off is obviously the accessory. The accessories on this are far better than even some of the $800 pairs, $600 pairs that I've had. So the accessories are great. If we were going from 1 to 5, the accessories would definitely be a 5. It's everything you need, including a cleaning cloth. Because, I mean, anything shiny gets fingerprints. I don't think these get half as much fingerprinty as the metal ores did. But they still do get fingerprints, and it's nice to have that cloth to clean it up. Adapters, a must. When you have a balance thing, an adapter is a must. Because everything doesn't have the same things. I mean, obviously, if you're using something like the i5 over here, you got your standard jack, and then you got your 4.4. If you're using something like the SMSL or the tube amp or anything like that, then you have XLR, and you have that. And I have an XLR coming to me eventually. I think it's 4.4 to XLR. I'm not sure, but that'll come in handy, because then I just pop out the adapter, and anything I have that's balanced with 2.5, which is usually what I get in, I'm all set, because I got the adapter for it. I hope it's 4.4. I forgot if it was 4.4 or it was 2.5. But either way, it's a good adapter. It's nice to have an XLR adapter, especially if you don't have a lot of XLR cables, which, to be quite honest, I own one, I think, for the, I had it made for the Philips, the HRs, the X2 HRs. So let's get on with this. I like the accessories. 5 out of 5 for the accessories. It comes with everything I could think of that you would need, so that is good. Ergonomics. Now, these obviously are on the bigger side. I think if I put these up against the Dunus, they'd probably be about the same size. So these would be large. That said, they do fit in the air quite comfortable because of this very ergonomic shape of it, as you can see. So comfort, at least for 90% of the people out there, I would say is going to be a 5. The tip choices on this are excellent. There's a tip for everybody in here. I don't believe there's foam, but Silicone, there's a tip for everybody. Foam, there's a lot of good aftermarket foams. Comfort-wise, definitely I would give it 4.5 out of 5. Just because it may be a little too big for very small ears, but not so much. Look-wise is subjective. We're not going to really give it marks on look-wise. In general, we'll probably give like a personal opinion. Personally, I think they look gorgeous. My taste run a little bit simpler, but quite honestly, they're very pretty, and I can appreciate that. The designer did a great job. Whatever they were thinking, it looks fantastic. It almost looks like a musical instrument going down. So, looking at that, I give it that. So it's got comfort. It's got a lot of great accessories. It's built well. It's lightweight, yet it's made out of metal. That's a plus and a plus. So that obviously that gives you both the strength that you want and lightweight, which doesn't weigh down so much on the ears. And this cable is, just looking at this cable is actually better than 3 earphones I can think of that cost way more. I like this cable better than their stock cables. Yep. Alright, so me just admiring it, thinking about my notes on the sound signature with this. Let's just simplify this. We don't want to take up a lot of your time, and I want to do this as simple as possible without, I try not to use the words that everybody else is going to use, like musical and dynamic. This has a 10mm dynamic driver, and then it has 4 balanced armatures. The highs on this, the lows on this, and the mids and the soundstage. That's how we'll just break it down. We start with the lows. We start at the bottom and work our way up to the top. The bass on this is really good. It is a strong bass. It is not the strongest that I've heard. It is far from the strongest. Comparing this to like the Metalore, this would be bass light compared to them. They have some very deep, powerful bass. And that's not to say that the bass isn't powerful with this. I would say the bass on this is very good. It's quite powerful, and it is more controlled than normal, high-powered bass is. So it has some good control. There's a very lot of deep bass in the lower band, and then the mid bass comes out, and it comes out just as strong, very punchy. The bass is very rapid, and the mid bass very quick, and the deep, it doesn't hang around for a lot. It's not a very slow, deep bass, but it really digs down deep. It's got some power there. That said, that it does bleed into the mids, giving the mids some warmth, some recession there because of the V shape. It has a V shape to it, kind of a mature V shape. And the mids, though, themselves, even though they are slightly recessed, they are clear. This has some good detail. There's good timbre there. There's really good emotion in the mids. They're good. They're very good. There's some great details there. Now it's kind of a contradiction being, that it's recessed and everything, but they're very clear. Vocals are excellent, especially male vocals. They're excellent. They have a nice little forwardness to them. Some great details to them. Some great tonality in general. Kind of open and airy sounding. And then we get on to the treble, and the treble is very good. It's very relaxed. It does have some sparkle. There's a sense of sparkle there. There's enough in the extension to have sparkle, to have some very fine details. Again, it's open and airy sounding, but they roll off quickly. They're very relaxed. And there is a fast roll off with the treble, not making treble heads very happy there. It is a mature tuning in the treble. It does drop off fairly quickly. But it is a welcome because there's no harshness there. And you're still getting a fair amount of details. You're still getting some sparkle. You can hear those cymbals and everything else. But it never gets any harshness there. And I tend to gravitate toward that, even though I do love that old KZ, tuning with the splashy high-end sparkle, sometimes air drill, because you can always EQ that out or solve that with foam tips or something like that. Once in a while I'm in the mood for that, but the majority of the time I really like my well-controlled, maybe mature tuned or fast roll-off, uh, you know, highs. So for me, that's good. Then we get into the sound stage. Now the sound stage is very good here. There is a very immersive, very large sound stage with these. One of the nice features, I think the bass and the sound stage are a very good feature. Um, and it's good. The imaging is excellent. There's some really nice instrument separation there, and overall, it's accurate. It's a very deep sound stage with some nice width to it as well. It's just quite pleasant sounding. At first, I didn't think these were bassy. These are very picky with the source, and not necessarily the power rating, but just mainly the source. I mean, using these on one DAC as opposed to another, you're probably going to get a different sound. Using the wrong DAC with these is a detriment because these are not forgiving with tracks, and these are very source picky. But if you find the right source and you have a decent track, something CD quality at least, or maybe the higher upper range MP3 at the lowest, you're going to find that these sound very good. Just the nice mids, I find them quite pleasant, and that bass, especially on some tracks. Yeah, there are some bass boosted tracks out there that you're going to get a hold of that. It may just seem a little too bassy. For the most part, though, the bass is very well controlled. Very good sound stage, very relaxed treble, and very nice mids. Even though there is a recession there, it is a V shape. That's going to be expected. Overall, seriously, very nice tuning. This is the first try for this company, and it's kind of weird. They just immediately put out a higher range thing. I think these are in the $200 range or up. They started out over $200. Now I think they're like $199, and they're very good. Very, very good for the upper range of the budget, and a first try. Now they do make their own custom balanced armatures, and they have made balanced armatures for a while. So they know what they're doing with there, and the dynamic driver certainly does its part, being a big 10 millimeter in there. I do not know what it is made out of because it doesn't say anywhere on here, but nonetheless, would I recommend these? Let's just cut to the chase here. We're getting in well over 15 minutes. Let's cut into the chase. Here's the big deal right here. If you want to save time, here's what I think. Here's my opinion. Yeah, I would recommend these. These are fun sounding. They have a nice, I hate using that word, musical and dynamic sound to them. They're fun. I'm just going to call them fun. They're fun sounding. You also get your details in there. So you're getting bass, soundstage, details. Very good. You don't get that combo too much. Sometimes when it's bassy, that's it. It's bassy and it's powerful bass, and that's about it. That's all you're going to get. You're going to get really sharp highs and powerful bass. This one gives you the bass, the soundstage, and some details there too. Some very good details. Even some micro details, even though they're a little bit relaxed on the micro details, especially up in the highs. You get some really decent details here. You get some really good accessories. They're comfortable. For most people, they may like the looks on them. Maybe they're just a little too sparkly for some people. But overall, we got some very good sound, very good accessories, very good comfort, and they're very pretty. So that's my opinion on these. I would definitely recommend them, especially the price they've dropped to now. Uh, I don't think you could do a lot better than these if this is the type of signature that you're looking for. Obviously, if you're looking for something that's just neutral, flat, this on them, this isn't going to be for you. But if you want something that is here to enjoy the music, it's fun, not be too critical about it, even though there are very good details here. It's definitely not a critical listening pair. Um, yeah, I like these. I really do like these. Um, just looking at some things on them. Very nice first try for this company. These, I won't even go back in the box because I'm definitely using those constantly now for different things. And I'll keep these out. These are definitely going to be in my grab and go list. I usually keep, maybe, I don't know, anywhere from 8 to 10 out for my grab and go list, which right now includes about that much. And these definitely are on them now. I hope this video was informative. Thank you so much for watching. We're going over 20 minutes. This pair just had so much to them. It's just such a unique pair. I just had to do a little bit more time with them. Thank you so much for watching, and please be safe.